Hello and welcome to Narayana IAS. My name is Abhijit Srivastav. We are here to discuss daily news analysis. Today is 12th March 2024 and let's have a quick view over the topics that we are going to discuss here. First is from page number 11, the Hindu Delhi edition, which talks about time to prohibit judges from joining politics. We have historical examples in which our judges from higher judiciary have joined active politics just after their retirements. Whether it's right time to prohibit them from joining politics or not, and how these incidences are affecting doctrine of separation of power and social contract. We'll be discussing. Next is from page number 10, a tribe in the Western Ghats in need of a lifeline. This article is discussing about a serious problem of alcoholism among the tribal communities, right? So we'll be discussing these problems. Next is from page number 1, Center notifies CAA rules ahead of polls. CAA stands for Citizenship Amendment Act. The Amendment Act, which was done in 2019, which amended the Citizenship Act of 1955, and what are the controversies associated with these CAA 2019, we will be discussing. Next is from page number 1, test flight of Agni 5 and with MIRV successful. What is MIRV technology? What are the specific features of Agni 5? From prelims exam point of view, we will be discussing these things. And lastly, from page number 6, Modi to launch 205 one stations, one product stalls for Southern Railways. So what are the initiatives that we have taken to modernize our railway? After discussing all these articles, we will be discussing prelims and mains related questions. So let's start our discussion. Embark on your UPSC journey with Narayana IAS Academy. Our esteemed 5-year and 3-year integrated programs now open for admissions in Hyderabad, Vijayawada and Nellore. Our courses includes robust R&D backed initiatives such as first, daily news analysis and daily news read, comprehensive review program for a broader understanding of current affairs. Second, NCERT program, a foundational course that covers all NCERT syllabi, crucial for UPSC preparation. Third, mentorship program for personalized guidance and regular test series for systematic learning and assessment. So begin your journey to becoming a leader with Narayana IAS Academy today. So the first article for today's discussion is time to prohibit judges from joining politics. A.W. Goldner is an American sociologist and he gave the concept of norm of reciprocity, according to which this is a universal norm that in every human societies, individuals are obliged to reciprocate the favors that they receive. And this is also applicable in the functioning of institutions. For example, if a person A is sitting on the top position of a particular institution, is getting benefited or is getting favor from a person B which is outside of that institution, the person A will be obliged to reciprocate person B. While doing this reciprocity or this reciprocal action, this person A may misutilize the resources of this particular institution. And this creates a fertile ground for corruption, favoritism, and nepotism. This article is also discussing similar kind of incident, and this article is raising a concern whether a judge should join politics just after retirement, because according to this article and according to many other politicians and scholars, pre-retirement judgments are often influenced by post-retirement jobs. And this is not the first time that we are witnessing a post-retirement job or a controversy over the post-retirement jobs of a particular judge. Even before that, Justice Chagla was there, and initially Justice Chagla was a person who was against any kind of post-retirement job, right? He wanted to denounce all kind of post-retirement jobs for judges who occupy the constitutional course. But later on, he joined post-retirement job under Government of India. He joined as ambassador, then as High Commission to UK, and then he joined active politics, and he became foreign minister as well, right? So there are certain incidences, but is it a high time that we need to prohibit judges entering active politics just after the retirement or not? Why this article is important? In GS paper 2, there is a topic separation of power. This post-retirement job or the lucrative post-retirement jobs becomes a hurdle for separation of power, specifically to the independence of judiciary. In GS paper 4, there is a topic ethical concerns and dilemma in government and private institution. This article is discussing about separation of power, independence of judiciary, and judges in active politics. Let's understand the importance of this whole topic and article from previous year question point of view. 2019 UPSC asked this question: do you think that Constitution of India does not accept principle of strict separation of power? Every time, every year, UPSC is asking question from the separation of power. And in upcoming year, you can expect such type of question that they connect linkages between separation of power and post-retirement job, and they can ask this question, right? What is the context? Justice Abhijit Gangopadhyay. See, in UPSC mains exam and even in interview, you need not to name a particular person. You need not to name a political party, right? But I put all these names here just to give context, just to make more clarity, just to create more clarity on the topic. But you should refrain from mentioning name, right? So Justice Abhijit Ganguly recently resigned as a judge of the Calcutta High Court. Instead of writing the name, you can also write this. Recently, a judge of Calcutta High Court resigned as a judge and joined a political party, right? He joined BJP. He said that he was approached by BJP. The person was approached by a political party. A judge was approached by political party, and he also approached political party during his tenure as judge, and he declared he will be a party soldier. But the incident reignites the debate on whether judges should be allowed to join politics immediately after retirement. So let's suppose this is the judge's tenure, and whether there should be a cooling off period before joining politics or not. Cooling off means just after retirement, they should not be involved in any government jobs, or they should not involve or devote themselves towards any political ideology or political party, right? So this is cooling off period, just to prevent any bias in pre-retirement judgment. Let's go into detail. Former Union Minister Arun Jaitley had once advocated a cooling off period for judges, saying pre-retirement judgments are influenced by a desire for post-retirement jobs. When Gangopadhyay was asked about this, he retorted that there is no rule to this effect. So there are two things. One is legal, another is ethical. What is legal? That they are not prohibited to join active politics just after retirement, right? What is legal, what is ethical, we will be discussing, right? He added that he never gave any political judgment which was politically biased. So before retirement, during pre-retirement, whether that person, whether that judge has given any politically biased judgment or not, which is also being affected by post-retirement jobs, right? You need not to memorize all the controversies here, but just to understand that this was not the case. There is a controversy in his tenure. While serving as a judge, Gangopadhyay was often embroiled in controversies. You need not to memorize all the controversies, but it shows that he gave public criticism of the West Bengal government, and not in the cases, rather he gave public opinion or public criticism to a particular political ideology. That means he was initially inclined toward a particular another political ideology, and this is creating hurdle for functioning or well functioning of politics in India. If a judge, if a person sitting at the higher position of judiciary having politically biased ideology, if a person sitting at the higher position of judiciary is having inclined or is inclined towards a particular political ideology, the judgments of that person will not reflect the constitutional ethos, and it will hurt our politics, free and fair functioning of politics, right? And eventually it will hurt the fundamental rights of the person to choose their own representative, right? And that person was, or that judge was also involved in contentious legal matter in which he was inclined towards, or it seems that he was inclined towards a particular political ideology, right? And this is a biggest problem in the functioning of judiciary and the separation of power, right? As far as judicial conduct is concerned, our Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, he also highlighted that judges should refrain from giving media interviews on pending cases, reflecting the exceptions of judicial restraint and impartiality, specifically in the case related with Justice Gangopadhyay, right? So, Justice Gangopadhyay, whether he was politically inclined or not, this is not the matter of concern, but the problem is judiciary at a large is nowadays becoming more inclined towards a particular political ideologies, and this is becoming concern because most of the judges are looking for post-retirement jobs, right? And this is hurting the functioning of judiciary. Alan Dershowitz is a political philosopher, and he explained the dual nature of judiciary's position. Judiciary at the same time is highly vulnerable and on the same time highly protected. How highly protected? We'll be looking in a couple of minutes. But highly vulnerable, judiciary is highly vulnerable towards any intervention by the executive or any external force. Executive is external force, and judiciary is highly vulnerable towards any intervention of the executive or from the executives, right? And which is hurting the independence of judiciary and eventually which is hurting the fundamental rights of the people. Recognizing this intervention, recognizing this vulnerability of judiciary, K.T. Shah, he was the member of Constituent Assembly, he proposed that judges of constitutional courts should not be allowed to hold any executive position to maintain judiciary or judicial independence, right? Even First Law Commission recognized this vulnerability, and First Law Commission, it denounced the practice of taking post-retirement jobs by the judges, right? And both of them were mentioning it is imperative for the judicial independence that we should restrain or we should separate judges from the executive. We should not give opportunity for the judges as far as post-retirement jobs are concerned, right? There's also an ethical concern. This becomes part of professional ethics. Sacrifices of judgeship, right? According to which a lawyer must give personal liberties and aspirations for a life of restraint. So a lawyer, judge, must live a life of restraint. That person should give up its aspirations, personal aspirations and personal liberties at various point of time, right? And this is a sacrifice which is expected from a judge, right? But they have at the same time, they have various powers, and which shows Alan Dershowitz's dual nature of judiciary's position, that they have a lot of powers and privileges. For example, salaries, their salaries are not voted, right? They have independence in terms of tenure, right? It's a constitutional provision. They have the independence, they cannot be removed easily. Removal is very difficult for a judiciary or for the judges, right? For example, impeachment process, technically it's removal process. Article 124 and 217 of Indian Constitution provides the removal process of judiciary or judges, and which is very difficult, that we haven't seen any example so far post independence, right? Also, high courts, even Supreme Courts, have the authority to issue contempt of court because they are court of record, right? For example, Article 215 of Indian Constitution, which gives High Court a power of court of record, and they can issue contempt of court, right? So they can protect their independence with the help of all these provisions, right? So at the same point, they are vulnerable as well as they are highly protected, right? Let's understand some constitutional and legal framework. Firstly, oath of office. Judges in India are required to take an oath as per paragraph 8 of the third schedule of the Constitution. This third schedule is important. Paragraph 8 you can skip. Pledging to perform their duties impartially without fear, favor, affection or ill will. So this oath also restrain judges to take any politically biased opinion. There is also Bangalore Principles of Judicial Conduct. Bangalore Principle was adopted by United Nations Social and Economic Council in 2002. It was adopted in 2002. These principles outline 6 key judicial values like independence, impartiality, integrity, propriety, equality, competence, and diligence, which emphasizes the removal of bias in judicial decision making. This independence of judiciary and lack of any confluence or nexus between judiciary and executive is also important for public confidence. How? The principles stress that judges' conduct both inside and outside the courtroom should enhance public, legal, and litigant confidence in the judiciary's impartiality. They should also restrain themselves on commenting something. Judges are advised against making public comments that could influence case outcomes, aligning with the need for impartiality in judicial proceedings that we have seen in the remarks given by the Justice Chandrachud. There is also disqualification in bias. If a judge cannot decide a matter impartially, they are expected to disqualify themselves from those proceedings, ensuring fairness and integrity. As far as professional conduct is concerned, judges are expected to maintain behavior consistent with dignity of their office, upholding the judiciary's honor and reputation. The judiciary's image is also important, impacting public confidence in the state or the functioning of a state, that is known as social contract. As noted by US Judge Simon Rifkin, the courtroom reflects the presiding judge's image, emphasizing the judge's influence on the judiciary's perception. Indian Supreme Court observation: in this notable cases, Supreme Court has highlighted the importance of judges possessing sterling character and integrity to maintain the justice system purity. This holds also historical resignation. Past instances like the resignation of Chief Justice Koka Subba Rao and Justice Baharul Islam for political roles serve as the example, but are not deemed justifiable in the current context of judicial conduct expectations. So, there is an evolution of standards. While historical precedents exist, the global recognition of the Bangalore Principles signifies a shift towards more stringent standards for judicial conduct and separation of judiciary and politics. Way forward. I have put question mark here. Is this a correct way forward? So we can have majorly two way forwards for that. First, committee of judges or by the judges of their own, and the second is cooling off period by the legislative measures, right? For example, if a committee should be created and a convention should be established so that the retired judges will decide what could be the post-retirement jobs that we can give to the judicial members. For example, tribunals or membership to the tribunals or any high commission, etc., etc. So that should be decided by the committee of the retired judges, right? And not by the executive or the government, right? Also, there should be a cooling off period so that we can prevent any post-retirement jobs, right? So there should be some 2-year or 1-year cooling off period so that political biases should not be reflected in the pre-retirement judgments, right? There are other way forwards. For example, there is an opportunity to reform that this article is mentioning. The incident provides a significant opportunity for the Chief Justice of India. Again, why this question mark has been mentioned here, because this article is putting all the conditions on the Chief Justice of India and the Supreme Court only, right? To address the possibly reform policies concerning judges transitioning into politics. investigation and evolution. This article is arguing that we should, or the Supreme Court has the responsibility and opportunity to investigate against a particular judge. But this is not an example for a particular judge or particular incident. We have to perform, we have to take a holistic reform in this regard, right? Express prohibition, there is a call for the Supreme Court to explicitly prohibit judges of constitutional courts from engaging political activities post resignation to avoid conflicts of interest and preserve judicial impartiality. This article is also arguing that there is a breach of oath and that we have to consider, that Supreme Court has to consider, and accordingly they have to react. Alignment with judicial conduct, such prohibitions would align with the Bangalore principles of judicial conduct. This article is again and again arguing that that judge should abide by the judicial principles of Bangalore principles of judicial conduct. But this is just an incident. We have to understand, we need to take a holistic measure for improvement of the judiciary or to maintain the independence of the judiciary. Presidential support. The action would be supported by various Indian presidents and judicial statements emphasizing the importance of judicial character and behavior in maintaining public trust in judiciary. There is a need for judge-made law given the legislative branch's potential reluctance to address the issue. There is an emphasis on the judiciary itself establishing norms or laws that govern post-retirement conduct of judges, specifically related to the cooling off period. Right? There is also global context that this article is mentioning. Implementing such measures would align India's judiciary with international standards and expectations regarding the separation of judicial and political roles. Next article is a tribe in the Western Ghats in need of a lifeline. This article is discussing the problem of alcoholism in the tribal communities in general, and they have given a case study about Fani Yarava tribe in Karnataka region. This article is also important from prelims point of view because they have mentioned various places such as Kirti Reserved Forest, which is in the Karnataka, which is a part of Western Ghats. Also Tala Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary, which is also part of Western Ghats, right? So all these places are in the Karnataka and which can be important for us from prelims examination point of view. Why this article is important? Prelims. Also in GS paper 2, there is a topic welfare schemes for vulnerable sections of the population, specifically to the tribal communities. Tribal communities are at the bottom of our social pyramid, right? And we need to uplift, we need to improve their situation, we have to work upon their marginalization, right? And UPSC is often interested in such type of question. For example, in 2020, they have asked a case study regarding a peculiar problem of tribal population, right? So in upcoming future, you can expect such type of questions as well. What is the context? There is an alcohol abuse of a particular tribal community, and this problem of alcoholism is almost universal for every traditional indigenous groups in the globe, right? Which is threatening to overrun the Fani Yarava tribals in Karnataka. And this article is urging a policy intervention to uplift this tribal community, to improve their position, improve their socio-economic situation, and to get rid of the problem of alcoholism. Let's understand the location and demographics. This Fani Yarava tribes resides in the Makuta village. This name of this village is not important, but they are located in the Western Ghats within the Karnataka's Kodagu district. So they live in the Western Ghats of Karnataka state, right? This village is a part of region recognized for its biodiversity and is one of the 10 World Heritage Sites in Karnataka. So various World Heritage Sites is situated in the Karnataka state. For example, group of monument at Hampi, group of monument at Pattadakkal, Western Ghats, sacred ensembles of Hoysalas, monuments and forts of Deccan Sultanate, monuments of Sri Rangapatnam Island, evolution of temple architecture at Aihole, Padayu, and Pattadakkal, and Hire Panakal megalithic site. Right? So there are various World Heritage Site in Karnataka that we have to memorize as far as prelims point of view is concerned. There's a land right achievement that this community has achieved. In 2021, the Yerava community successfully claimed rights to 135 acre of forest land under the Forest Right Act, facilitated by local support and interdepartmental collaboration. But even after this accomplishment, even after this achievement, this community is not able to uplift their socio-economic situation. Still, they are grappling with alcoholism and they are bottom of the pyramid of population in the Karnataka. This tribals and alcoholism problem is not new, right? This alcoholism is a part and parcel of their cultural activities. But these cultural activities were limited to certain occasions. But right now, this rampant or widespread alcoholism in the tribal communities is present, and tribals are disproportionately burdened with this alcoholism, right? There's a wide range of health and social problems related with this alcoholism, including violence, family breakdown, child neglect, loss of income, diverting income, and high morbidity and early mortality because of this alcoholism. And as per National Family Health Survey, it suggests that alcoholism among tribal communities is 26%, while compared to other communities, which is just 9%. So you can see they are more burdened with this problem. And the major reason is socio-economic marginalization and historical suppression. How socio-economic marginalization? Because of, firstly, traditional rituals, right? Most of their rituals allow the alcoholism, right? Second is occupational factors. Since they lack good amount of education, since they lack skill, they have to rely on certain occupations only, for example construction work, right? And there they find peer group which promotes alcoholism among the people, right? And that is why they are getting affected. There's also problem of home environment. Even children are influenced by parents, because parents are also using alcohol regularly. So children are also influenced by this alcoholism, right? How historical oppression. So when you see Britishers in India, when they came, before Britishers, this was the cultural part and parcel of cultural activities of tribal community. But Britishers transformed this controlled cultural activity to widespread economic activity. How? It was a cultural activity, part of cultural activity. But when Britishers came, because of their economic interest, they make this alcohol or use of alcohol widespread. They strengthen the distribution mechanism of this alcohol distribution as well as production, and they infuse this alcoholism among the tribal communities for their economic interest. Later on, when these tribal communities became dependent on Britishers, they tried to promote opium cultivation in the tribal region in the exchange of alcohol. So because of their economic interest, Britishers, they transformed this tribal cultural or controlled cultural activity to widespread economic activity, right? This changed the livelihood, and this alcoholism is affecting the lifestyle of the tribal community. How? Despite acquiring forest right, the tribe's enthusiasm is low as their dependency on the forest and livelihood has decreased. They find more value in working as laborers, often traveling to nearby Kerala for more. This article is discussing about the Yarawa tribe, right? While still collecting minor forests like fuelwood, honey, dhoop, and sekakai, the tribe primarily uses these for personal consumption rather than commercial purposes. A significant issue facing the tribe is widespread alcohol addiction affecting adults and adolescents, disrupting community life and causing concerns about their socio-economic well-being. This alcoholism, the problem of alcoholism is also impacting the community. How? The addiction issue has led to increased mortality, reduced population, and a disconnection from external world, affecting the community's awareness and management of essential documents and benefits, right? So this article is suggesting certain policy intervention. First is, this article is recognizing the importance of activists and officials, and it noted that the plight of smaller tribal communities like Fana Yarawa often goes unnoticed in policy making because the population, the demography is not significant politically, so it is being neglected and unnoticed in the policy making. So there is a call for more focused attention and action to address the unique challenges faced by the community. They rely other states, for example, Kerala or Tamil Nadu, for their economic opportunity. They are not relying on their local forest resources, right? Plus, they are burdened with this alcoholism. And these are the unique challenges that these smaller communities are facing. And this article is asking more intervention as far as activists and officials are concerned. There should be some de-addiction efforts. Some initiatives should be brought for de-addictions. Also, there is a requirement of research and awareness in this population because it's a very small population and they have unique issues, unique problems. There is a call for inclusive policies. How we can create inclusive policies? With the help of inclusion of population in planning, implementation, and feedback loop, right? So if we are including these smaller population, these smaller communities in these processes, we can understand the problems of these communities and then only we can solve the problems. Next article is Center notifies CAA rules ahead of polls. CAA means Citizenship Amendment Act. This Citizenship Amendment Act was enacted in 2019, which amended the Citizenship Act of 1955. Recognizing the peculiar problems of persecuted minorities in the neighboring region, specifically in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, central government brought this 2019 or 2019 CAA, right? But since 2019, government had not notified any specific rules related with the CAA, but recently central government has notified, or Union Ministry of Home Affairs has notified specific rules related to the CAA. Why this article is important? Because of Citizenship Amendment Act. This article is discussing about Citizenship Amendment Act. Also, this current affairs of national and international importance is important for our GS prelims. Also, in GS paper 2, there is a topic Indian polity and governance, constitution and political system. And this Citizenship Amendment Act has grappled with various contentions issues, and that we need to understand here. Let's understand the importance. In UPSC 2021 prelims examination, they ask about citizenship and domicile. So you can expect these type of question in future as well. What is the context? Union Home Ministry notified Citizenship Amendment rules, which would enable the implementation of Citizenship Amendment Act passed by Parliament in 2019. Right. This Citizenship Amendment Act 2019 is having three major area of contention. First is regarding secular nature of our country, our nation, and our constitution and our laws, right? Second is Assam Accord. And third is related with the OCI, Overseas Citizenship of India, right? Why secular nature? Because firstly, this Citizenship Amendment Act is enabling only those people or those persecuted minority which came from only three countries: Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. What about Sri Lanka? What about Myanmar? We are not recognizing those people, right? Second is, this Citizenship Amendment Act is giving citizenship or enabling provisions to give citizenship to only those people or a particular section of people which related to Hindu, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi, etc., Christian, etc., but not including the Islam or Muslim population. So why we are discriminating on the basis of religion? Also, this CAA 2019 is giving a cutoff point of 31st December 2014. What about people which came to India after 31st December 2014? Right? So these are the problems or area of contention under secular nature. The second thing is Assam Accord. It had a cutoff point of 1971 under Assam Accord. But this Citizenship Amendment Act is supposed to be antagonistic to Assam Accord, and it will hamper, as per certain ideologies, as per certain people, it will going to hamper the Assam Accord and the demography as well as political interest of the people of northeastern state. It is also hampering issues or rights related to the OCI people. What are those? We'll be looking in a couple of minutes, right? So, the law paves the way for Hindu, Sikh, Jain, Buddhist, Christian, and Parsi refugees to acquire Indian citizenship. This citizenship is based on religion, and this is the first time that India is discriminating people on the basis of religion. This is applicable to those who came to India before December 31st, 2014, and this is also an area of contention from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, and without having a valid passport of these countries or an Indian visa. So let's look into some of the provisions of Citizenship Act of 1955, and let's understand how Indian citizenship can be acquired. There are 5 provisions through which Indian citizenship can be acquired under Citizenship Act 1955. That is acquisition, that is incorporation of territory into India. Naturalization, if you are living in India for almost 11 years, that is naturalization. Registration, through registration, you can acquire the Indian citizenship. Descent and birth. Descent means if your forefather belongs to India and you want to get, or you want to acquire the Indian citizenship, you can get from descent provisions. And by birth, that is if you are taking birth in India's territory, that is birth, right? This Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, it included one more provision under the naturalization process, right? It gave, or it waived off the provision of 11 years of naturalization for those specific people who came from Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan and belong to certain religious categories. The new law, however, introduced religion as the new criteria under this naturalization process to acquire citizenship in India while excluding Muslims. The law proposed that a specified class of illegal migrants, now we are not considering those people as illegal migrants because they don't have the proper paper or documentation. So still we are not recognizing them as an illegal migrant after the implementation of CAA 2019. From the three countries, Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan will not be treated as illegal migrants, making them eligible for citizenship. These migrants will become Indian citizens from the date of their entry into India anytime before 31st December 2014. So this was the cutoff date that we have decided. All legal proceedings regarding their status as illegal migrants or their citizenship will be closed. Also, the refugee has to fulfill some qualification. One of the qualification is that person must have resided in India or been in central government service for the last 12 months, right? And at least 11 years of the preceding 14 years. So this was the provision under Citizenship Act 1955. But we have changed for this particular segment of migrants to India. For the specified class of illegal migrants, the number of years of residency have been relaxed to 5 years. So now we have decreased from 11 years to 5 years for this class of people. The law has amended the act to allow cancellation of OCI registration if the person has violated any law, right? Any law notified by the central government. So this issue is also area of contention, that now central government can twist the hands of OCI people for their own self-interest, right? So all these are the provisions of Citizenship Amendment Act 2019. What are the changes that we have done in the Citizenship Act 1955? There are certain exceptions. For example, the amendments on citizenship for illegal migrants will not be applicable in certain areas. For example, 6 schedule states, Ta, A, Me, Mi, that is Tripura, Assam, Meghalaya and Mizoram, and the states and the areas which comes under the definition of inner line permit under the Bengal Eastern Front Regulation 1873. So these are the exceptions given to the implementation of Citizenship Amendment Act 2019. But still there are various regions to which it can affect the demography, right? And this is the third area of contention that is antagonistic to Assam Accord, right? How? In Assam, the CAA is seen as contradicting the promise made to the state in the Assam Accord, which set a cutoff year of 1971 for recognizing or recognition of migrants who had entered the states. CAA might lead to implementation of another type of issue is that CAA might lead to implementation of NPR, an exercise to identify illegal migrants which might take away minority rights. This these are the apprehensions in the minds of minorities. An exclusion of illegal Muslim migrants from the benefits of the act was not a reasonable classification as per certain people, and the issue is pending before the Supreme Court till date. Next article is test flight of Agni 5 with MIRV. MIRV stands for Multiple Independently Targetable Re-entry Vehicle Technology successful. What is this MIRV technology? We'll be looking in a couple of minutes. But this Agni 5 was developed by DRDO, and this whole test flight, successful test flight, was named as Mission Divyastra, given by our Honorable Prime Minister, right? Why this article is important? Because in prelims examination, you can expect specific information about Agni 5, MIRV technology. What is the difference between ballistic missile and cruise missile, and various stages of or various forms of ballistic missiles that you can expect in the prelims examination. Even in mains exam, there's a topic science and technology and indigenization of technology. Let's understand the importance. 2021, they asked about air defense system S-400 directly. And in prelims 2018, they asked about THAAD system. What is the context? DRDO has successfully test-fired Agni 5 ballistic missile with MIRV technology as a part of Mission Divyastra. So this test fire was known as, or is known as, Mission Divyastra. Before going into detail, this Agni 5 is a upgraded version of Agni missile or class of Agni missile, right? This Agni missile was a part of Integrated Guided Missile Development Program, which was started in 1983 by under the guidance of our ex-president Abdul Kalam, right? Later on in 2008, this whole program was completed, but even after 2008, we see newer versions of missiles such as Agni 5 missiles. Under this IGMDP missile, there were 5 missiles. One was Prithvi, A, Agni, T, Trishul, Nag, and Akash. So there were 5 missiles under this IGMDP program, that is Integrated Guided Missile Development Program, right? What are the key features of Agni 5 missile? It's a ICBM, Intercontinental Ballistic Missiles. What is Intercontinental Ballistic Missile? What are ballistic missiles? We'll be looking in a couple of minutes, but there are various kinds of ballistic missiles such as short range, long range, medium range, and intercontinental ballistic missiles. It has launch weight of 50,000 kilograms and it is a 3-stage solid fuel engine. It is an upgraded version of Agni 3 missile, which has 2-stage solid fuel engine, but Agni 5 has 3-stage solid fuel engine, right? It can carry 1.5 tons of nuclear warhead. You can expect such type of tiny information in your prelims examination. So remembering all these facts is important. And it has a range over 5,000 kilometers, right? It can reach up to 24 Mach speed. What is Mach speed? 1 Mach speed is equivalent to speed of sound. That means 24 Mach speed is a 24 times of speed of sound. It has a thermal resilience. Agni 5's indigenously developed heat shield maintains internal temperature below 50 degrees Celsius, ensuring operational integrity. Why this is important? Because usually what is happening, whenever we make any ballistic missile, it uses projectile motion and it goes beyond the troposphere, right? There we find very less temperatures at some point of time, or at some point of position, it finds very less temperature. To make it operational, we have to maintain the internal temperatures, right? It has guidance system. It is equipped with a ring laser gyroscope inertial navigation system, NAVIC, that is India's version of GPS system and satellite guidance, which ensures precise targeting capabilities. But ballistic missiles have lesser precise capabilities, target capabilities in comparison to cruise missiles, right? We'll be looking in a couple of minutes the difference between cruise and ballistic missiles. It has launch flexibility. It can be launched from sealed canister on a road mobile launcher, compressing the time needed to prepare for launch. So it can be launched from anywhere, right? So this is Agni 5 missile, and we tested from the Wheeler Island in Odisha. This can be important for your prelims examination, which has operational capability of 5,000, operational range of 5,000 kilometers. It has the payload capacity of 1360.78 kg. It has height of 17 meter, right? Let's understand the MIRV technology. This is a multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle. So we can understand this MIRV technology from this thing. Like whenever we use ballistic missile, right, it can be targeted to a particular position, right? But with the help of MIRV technology, we can use multiple warheads for multiple positions, right? Like this. So it is a technology used in a ballistic missile system where the single missile is equipped with multiple warheads. So instead of using single warhead to single missile, we are using multiple warheads with a single missile, each capable of being independently aimed at separate targets, right? The United States was the first to develop MIRV technology in early 1960s, and now we have developed this technology indigenously. What are the benefits of MIRV technology? It can enhance targeting, improved resilience, and it can save the cost, right? So instead of using one warhead, we can use multiple warhead, and we can target multiple places at single point of time with the help of single missile, right? Current status of MIRV technology: USA, UK, France, China, Russia, and now India, right? So these are the countries which have developed MIRV technology. Pakistan is also believed to be experimenting with MIRV technology, but still they haven't developed the MIRV technology. Let's understand the difference between cruise and ballistic missile. So if we categorize the whole missile system, that can be categorized into two forms: cruise and ballistic missile. So cruise missiles are those missiles which usually navigate near the surface. But when we consider ballistic missile, it uses projectile motion, and it uses the gravitational force, and it goes up in the atmosphere and then goes down on the surface, right? So this is the basic difference between cruise and ballistic missile. Cruise missiles are self-propelled guided weapons. Ballistic missiles are also guided, but up to a certain position. After that, they are not guided. That can be launched from the various platforms, including aircraft, ships, and ground-based launchers. This cruise missiles, right? Now we can also use or launch ballistic missiles from anywhere, right? They are designed to fly at low altitude. So it's like this. Cruise missiles fly in a low altitude and can be programmed to follow a specific flight path, often hugging the terrain. Depending upon the speed, these missiles are classified as subsonic cruise missile, supersonic cruise missile, and hypersonic cruise missile. Subsonic means lesser than 1 Mach. Supersonic around 2 to 3 Mach, and hypersonic more than 5 Mach, right? Ballistic missiles are launched directly into the upper atmosphere or in space in a high arcing trajectory and rely on gravity to carry them to their target after the initial powered phase of flight. There are types of ballistic missiles: short range, medium range, intermediate range ballistic missile, and intercontinental ballistic missiles. And these are the ranges for these missiles, right? So let's have a table for comparison between cruise and ballistic missile. As far as propulsion is concerned, it takes or it has air breathing propulsion system, cruise missile, but it is rocket powered as far as ballistic missile is concerned. It can be subsonic, it can be supersonic. It has the capability to reach to hypersonic. Ballistic missiles can go much faster than cruise missile because of gravitational force, right? As far as flight altitude is concerned, it is flying in the low altitude area near the Earth's surface. But as far as ballistic missile is concerned, it is flying in the high, often into space, and then come to the Earth's surface, right? It is guided throughout the entire flight, but it is guided only during the boost phase. What about maneuverability? It has high degree of in-flight maneuverability, but because of its obvious reasons, ballistic missiles have limited maneuverability. Why? Because it's not guided after a particular period of time. It has a longer range, varies, but often longer range, especially ICBM. It can reach to, or it can have intercontinental range, right? So as far as range is concerned, ballistic missiles have greater range, right? It has high precision. The ballistic or the cruise missile is having more precision because it is guided missile, right? But ballistic missiles have lesser precision, right? This can be used for tactical purposes, specific targets. It has strategic target, but long range attacks on cities and military bases. It is harder to detect because it fly in a low altitude area, but it is easy to detect, right? Examples can be BrahMos and Nirbhay, and the examples for ballistic missiles can be Prithvi, Agni, and Dhanush missile, right? So this is the trajectory for ballistic missile, and this can be a trajectory for cruise missile, right? Last article for today's discussion is Modi to launch 205 one station, one product stalls for Southern Railways. So there are multiple projects related with the railway or modernization of Indian Railway that we need to discuss here. It's important because in GS paper 3, there is a topic economic development, infrastructure and railways that can be important for prelims as well as mains. In 2015, UPSC asked about bio-toilets used by Indian Railways. So that time we infused certain technology, we started certain initiatives, and UPSC asked this question. So this topic becomes important for us. What is context? Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, is set to inaugurate multiple railway projects worth 85,000 crore. Memorizing the data is not important here, but if you have this type of information or if you have such clarity over this outlay, you can eliminate various options. For example, if UPSC in one of its statement says that one station, one product scheme had outlay of 1 lakh crore, right? So you can eliminate because this one station, one product scheme is a sub part of this 85,000 crore outlay. There are other projects as well. So this project or this scheme cannot have the expenditure over 1 lakh crore, right? Okay. So there are several projects. One among them is one station, one product scheme at 205 railway stations across Southern Railways, right? So basic purpose is to promote local industry. What are the other projects under this outlay? One is Vande Bharat Express that will be run between Dr. MGR Chennai Central to Mysore. Extension of the Tiruvananthapuram Kasaragod Vande Bharat Express up to Mangalore Central. New express train will be flagged off on the Kollam Tirupati Kollam route. So UPSC has asked a question related to the places in news regarding Kollam to Kottayam, something like this. So next is infrastructure would be to ease freight loading, unloading goods sheds with ample warehousing facilities opened at Singaperumal, Koil, Gangai Kondan, Theni, Pattukottai, Tiruraipundi, and Valliyur. Remembering these names is not important, just you have to make clarity that there are various sub initiatives that has been launched to improve the infrastructural development in the southern railways, right? Jan Aushadhi Kendras offering affordable generic medicine will be inaugurated at several stations including Dindigul, Erode, Tiruchi, and Palakkad. This specific issue or this specific scheme is important because now we are seeing that central government is converging various initiatives to improve the productivity. This can be considered as a case study for you. A rail coach restaurant will be opened at Chennai Central, and efforts are being made to address passenger concerns about jerks experienced in Link Hoffman Bush rakes. What are these? We'll be looking in a couple of minutes. Also, let's understand the one nation, one product stall, and then we'll see the stakes. It is an initiative by the Indian Railways under the Ministry of Railway. This scheme is designed by the National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. It was started on March 25th, 2022. The objective was launched with a vision to promote vocal for local. It is same as the one district, one product of Uttar Pradesh, right? To build each railway station as a promotional hub showcasing the and providing a market for local and indigenous products. It creates additional income generation opportunities, especially for marginalized section of the society, thus supporting local economies. What about the design? The eligible applicant will be allotted a temporary stall or kiosk for a period of 15 days on deposition of 1,000 rupees with railways. Sale outlets are provided at the stations nationwide allotted through a tendering processes. The zonal railways will identify the stations, eligible products, and the vendors, right? So through this, we are optimizing railway infrastructure. We are using our railway infrastructure in an optimal way. We are also promoting local products, and through which we are trying to reduce the expenditure on railway infrastructure so that railway can become independent of the government expenditure, right? Let's understand about the Link Hoffman Bush rakes. This LHB coaches are passenger coach used in Indian Railways, developed by Link Hoffman Bush of Germany, introduced in 1919, and is in use since 2000 on the broad gauge network of Indian Railways. So there are three types of rail system in India depending upon the width between two rail. There can be broad gauge, there can be narrow gauge, and there can be meter gauge. Broad gauge has width of 1.676 meter. Narrow gauge has width between two rail of 0.762 meter, and meter gauge has 1 meter width, right? Indian Railways is trying to seize the production of old integral coach factory and replace them with LHB as part of Indian Railway Modernization Initiative. The benefits are: firstly, lighter in weight compared to ICF coaches. Second, higher carrying capacity with speed potential. Increased caudal life and improved safety features. Anti-climbing features prevent coaches from climbing on top of each other in case of collision. And lastly, they have less corrosive shells, providing better riding comfort and aesthetics compared to ICF coaches. So far, we have discussed all the important articles. Let's do some practice questions. First question is, consider the following statements regarding tribes in India. Alcohol use is more in tribals as compared to other mainstream groups. This is correct statement. traditional tribal societies did not have indigenous practices of alcohol consumptions before Britishers. No, they had, but on a particular occasions. A major cause behind the Birsa Munda movement was Britishers were prohibiting Munda tribes to consume alcohol. No, this is incorrect statement because they made this alcoholism widespread phenomena, and Birsa Munda was against this widespread phenomena, right? So which of the above statements are correct, or how many of the above statements are correct? Only one is correct. So A part will be the correct answer. Which of the following statements regarding Agni 5 missile are correct? Agni 5 is a cruise missile. No, it's a ballistic missile. The first statement is incorrect. It has the capability to deliver a 1.5 ton nuclear warhead of targets over 5,000 kilometers away. That is correct. A missile is propelled by 3-stage solid fuel engine. That is also correct. So 2 and 3 will be the correct answer. Consider the following statements on the differences between cruise and ballistic missile. Cruise missile offer greater in-flight maneuverability. That is correct. Ballistic missiles follow high arcing trajectories, reaching space before descent. That is also correct. Cruise missiles target specific objectives, while ballistic missiles strike strategic location. That is also correct. So D part will be the correct answer. In the context of Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, consider the following statements. The CAA 2019 provided religion as criteria for acquisition of Indian citizenship by illegal migrants from Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh only. That is correct. For the specified class of illegal migrants, the number of years of residency has been relaxed to 5 years. That is also correct. How many of the above statements are incorrect? So both are correct, so none will be the correct answer. With regards to Link Hoffman Bush rakes, which was in the news recently, which of the following statements is true? This is the fifth state of matter predicted by scientists. No, it is related with the railway coaches. These are passenger coaches used. This is correct. This is a geographic model used by the Indian Meteorological. No, this is incorrect. It is a system that creates, manages, analyzes and maps all types of data and then connects data to a map. No, this is incorrect. So B part will be the correct answer. Let's come to the mains practice question. Do you think that judges should be allowed to join politics immediately after retirement? This question is asking your opinion. In such type of question, in the question in which they are asking about the opinion, you have to give arguments in support of the statement and against of the statement, and then you have to analyze whether in support of the statements are good or in against of the statement are good, and then you have to conclude. You have to give your opinion, right? In light of recent developments and past suggestions advocating for a cooling off period, explain various legal and ethical concerns associated with the issue. Whenever you see ethical concern, you have to stick to keywords which are related to GS paper 4, right? So you have to be very cautious while solving the questions. You have to start with introducing the importance of judicial independence and show a trade-off between independence and the post-retirement jobs with some example if you want, but there is a space limitation, so you can skip the examples. In body part, you can start with the example so that it can connect introduction with the body, then explain various legal and ethical concerns to show why judges should not be allowed for post-retirement jobs or politics, mentions requirement for cooling off period. Some legal points can be there: judicial independence, public perception, conflict of interest, precedents and global standards. And ethical issues you can mention integrity and impartiality, long-term implication and professional ethics. Then finally conclude with the importance of cooling off period and some other innovative measures, such as you can suggest for creation of committee set up by or made up of retired judges, etc. Right? So through this, we are concluding our today's discussion. If you like our initiative, please like, share, and subscribe.